I was reborn. No sooner had I sat up in bed than a smelly shoe flew straight at my head. Jiang Xiao, didn't I tell you to lick my shoe clean? A girl was shouting at me arrogantly. I looked closely. Oh, isn't this my old acquaintance Liang Nuo? And the Jiang Xiao she mentioned, if I remembered correctly, was her family's housemaid's daughter. So, I've been reborn as the daughter of Liang Nuo's family maid. Tisk, TSK. Now this is interesting. Liang Nuo was my high school classmate. Ever since I transferred to their school in my sophomore year, I became her foil. Being a foil meant I outshone her in every single way. Originally, she was the so-called school beauty. After I arrived, she became a joke. Academically, she was perpetually second. First place was always me. Family background? Her father was just a minor contractor for my dad. Someone who had to suck up to my father just to keep food on the table. Looks? Pale and frail, standing next to me, a tall, athletic 175 centimeters girl who swam and worked out year-round. She looked like a scrawny little chick. In short, if I was Zan Wan, powerful consort, and she was a Lingrong, a jealous, insecure one, she was obviously insanely jealous of me. But in front of me, she had to carefully hide all her negative emotions and work hard to ingratiate herself. Because my dad was essentially the godfather to her dad's business. Of course, she wasn't always this submissive. When I first transferred, I topped the monthly exams right away, stealing Liang Nuo's thunder. By the second monthly exam, a little note conveniently fell onto my desk during the test. Immediately, someone accused me of cheating. I turned around and saw Anling.Nuo smirking triumphantly. The idiot might as well have had "I'm the mastermind" tattooed on her forehead. Without hesitation, I slapped her across the face and asked, "Does your father know how stupid you are?" She was shocked and furious, telling me to wait. What came next? She and her father apologized to me in front of the whole class. I didn't pursue the classmate who accused me, but I heard Liang Nuo gave her a severe beating afterward. She thought that classmate had betrayed her. But really, I just told my dad about it. My dad simply made one phone call to her father. To protect his multi-million-dollar yearly business, her father didn't hesitate to put on a show of strict parenting right in front of me. For money and Liang Nuo's father, right in front of me, admitted he failed to discipline his daughter properly and slapped her twice. After that, Liang Nuo never dared show her claws in front of me again. I knew she must hate my guts, but I honestly couldn't care less. My ambitions were vast. Why would I care what a mouse thought? Now, looking at this ferocious Liang Nuo before me, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unreality. Had being suppressed by me for so long made her ... snap. I picked up the shoe she'd just thrown and got out of bed. Liang Nuo, thinking I was scared, crowed, "Lick it clean, and I'll let you off the hook." I grabbed her hair in one swift motion and slammed her head hard onto that shoe. Liang Nuo started screaming. Ah! She struggled desperately. But Jiang Xiaoxia's body, probably from years of chores, was pretty strong. I held her down firmly. She couldn't move an inch. I grinned. "You like licking so much? Go ahead, lick it clean yourself." A full 3 minutes must have passed. Liang Nuo went from yelling to sobbing uncontrollably, before I finally let her head up from the shoe. I asked her, "So? How was it? Tasty?" She jumped up to slap me. When it comes to fighting, I've never backed down. I gave her an Ippon Seoi Nage, a judo throw, and she landed flat on her face. She cursed me out. "Jiang Xiao, you bitch. You're finished. I'll fire your slave of a mother. I'll have your abusive dad beat you and your mom to death. I stomped my foot hard on her shoulder blade. Liang Nuo cried out in pain and stopped cursing. "Liang Nuo, I'm not the same Jiang Xiao anymore. I suggest you stay far away from me from now on. Otherwise, I'll beat you every single time I see you. Unless you want to get hurt. Get the hell out of my sight." I lifted my foot. Liang Nuo, finally wise enough to shut up, scrambled away pathetically. Only when she was out the door, feeling safe enough, beyond my physical reach, did she turn back and snarl viciously. "Just you wait." Same old lines. Liang Nuo really has no new tricks. Being a ghost was too boring. Finally getting to be human again, The last thing I want is a dull life. I'd been dead for a while. Just got into Tsinghua University. Hadn't even enrolled yet, and got stabbed to death by a psycho. The psycho was a guy in my grade. I didn't even know him, but he kept ranting that I'd toyed with his feelings. What a freaking jinx. Sure, the psycho offed himself eventually, but my ghost was filled with nothing but resentment. My lifelong dream was to be the next Tu Yoayu, Nobel Prize-winning scientist. I'd worked for 18 years towards that goal, and before my dream could even set sail, it was sunk by some lunatic. I was so unwilling to just reincarnate. I floated around in the air, drifting ... Just when I thought I'd turn into an evil spirit, I somehow floated right into Jiang Xiaoxia's body. I went to the bathroom, washed my face, and got a good look at the original owner, Jiang Xiao. To be fair, Jiang Xiao was a real beauty, but in my memory, I'd almost never seen her lift her head. She was always cowering, following Liang Nuo around, carrying her bag, running errands, like some ancient handmaiden. In our high school, everyone knew Jiang Xiao was the daughter of the Liang family's maid. Everyone also knew Jiang Xiao was Liang Nuo's gift. On Liang Nuo's 10th birthday, she made a wish to help a child. Out of many underprivileged kids she chose Xiao. Xiao came from a poor mountainous area. Her father was extremely misogynistic. Because her mother had been injured giving birth and couldn't have more children, her father treated both mother and daughter as a disgrace, constantly beating them. When Xiao was 10, her father refused to let her attend school anymore. Right as she was about to drop out, Liang Nuo chose her, rescuing her and her mother from that nightmare of an original family, changing the course of her life. Liang Nuo used to brag everywhere. Without me, she'd probably be stuck in some godforsaken village having kids by now. My family's just too kind. It's like keeping an extra dog. Just costs a bit of money. Jiang Xiao never argued. She'd just silently hang her head lower, as everyone roared with laughter. Everyone knew Liang Nuo's help had nothing to do with kindness. It was just to polish her own image. And terrified that her money wasn't buying enough prestige, she kept Xiao constantly by her side, parading her like a trophy of her benevolence. As for what Jiang Xiao herself thought during all this, if she felt humiliated, violated, unable to cope, nobody cared. Ultimately, who cares about the dignity of a maid's daughter? Even I, back then, didn't really care. I just felt a bit sorry for her. But compared to her previous fate of dropping out, just being a servant to Liang Nuo in exchange for food, clothes and schooling didn't seem quite so pitiful. When we lack the power to change our destiny, we all just have to accept fate's whims, don't we? Now, I'm in Jiang Xiaoxia's body. Where did the real Jiang Xiao go? Dead. How did she die? Bullied to death by Liang Nuo? Countless questions rose in my mind, but no one answered. Jiang Xiaoxia's soul was completely gone from this body. Just then, my stomach growled loudly. I opened a food delivery app and picked my favorite Wagyu beef sandwich. When I went to pay, the app said, insufficient balance. I checked the price. Only 488 yuan. Was this 2022? A new university student doesn't even have 488 yuan in their bank account. Doesn't her mother give her living expenses? Sure, Jiang Xiaoxia's mom is a maid, but even my family's maid made 4,000 or 5,000 a month. Guess Jiang Xiaoxia's mom isn't so great to her either. Fortunately, I quickly remembered. For my 18th birthday, my dad gave me 1,000 bitcoins as an adulting gift. I checked the current exchange rate and relaxed a bit. Over 100 million yuan. Even if I can't reclaim my parents, that money is more than enough for me, in Jiang Xiaoxia's body, to live until I achieve my dream. But tonight, my stomach would just have to suffer with an ordinary sandwich. I randomly ordered a 99 yuan regular beef sandwich. When I went downstairs to pick it up and came back, there were two girls in the dorm, one tall, one short. They'd been chatting, but the moment I entered, it was like someone hit the pause button. The cheerful dorm fell silent. I smiled and greeted them. They just glanced at me, then looked away with disdain, as if they'd seen something dirty. Great. Roommates who don't waste each other's time. That's my ideal relationship. I opened my sandwich. Before I could even take a bite, the tall girl snorted. Some people are so pathetic. Can they just not be so damn pretentious? The short girl chimed in. Exactly. 100 yuan sandwich? Who do you think you are? Poor people shouldn't try so hard to show off. Karma's a bitch. Don't eat this now, and then have to steal our meal cards next week. I've always had a temper. Being reborn as Jiang Xiaoxia, taking crap from that bitch Liang Nuo, not being able to afford my favorite sandwich. It all made me even more irritable. And now these two random roommates want to start with me. Time to show them who's boss. I carefully put my sandwich down, pushed my chair back and stood up. I rolled my neck, wrists and ankles. Then, I slowly walked over to the tall girl and snatched her LV bag off the back of her chair. She stared at me nervously. What are you doing? I grinned and looked at the bag. Buying a fake LV and still trying to show off. Aren't you the pathetic one? Ignoring her shriek, I threw the bag on the floor and stomped on it. She reached out to push me. I dodged and she slammed into the wardrobe. I pressed her hard against it. Poor people shouldn't try so hard to show off. Karma's a bitch. Now tell me, who's the one showing off? Her voice was trembling, on the verge of tears. Me. I am. I'm showing off. I let her go and glanced at the short girl, who was frozen in fear. I asked her, You. Who's showing off? She stammered, Me. I shook my head. No, she's showing off. Come on, tell me now. Who's showing off? The short girl looked at the tall girl. Hesitating, I took a step toward her. Scared shitless, she immediately pointed at the tall girl. Her. Jiang Xiaoxia is showing off. The tall girl glared hatefully at the short one. The short girl looked away, ignoring her. Excellent. Such a fragile friendship. I went back to my spot, and using their broken friendship as a side dish, thoroughly enjoyed my dinner. Being human again meant I had a lot to do. First things first, find my parents and make them recognize me. When I was a ghost, I saw with my own eyes the pain my parents went through after losing me. My dad's hair seemed to turn white overnight, and my mum suffered from insomnia night after night. Now, even though I'm in Jiang Xiaoxia's body, I believe that as long as I can see my parents again, I can make them recognize my soul. I was so sick of being Jiang Xiaoxia, I couldn't wait to get back to my world as Zhao Changjiang. But it was too late tonight, and I was exhausted. I decided to sleep first and see my parents tomorrow. I climbed into Jiang Xiaoxia's bed. As I moved the pillow, I found a notebook underneath. It was Jiang Xiaoxia's diary. This diary kept me up all night. Jiang Xiaoxia's life was far more difficult than I'd ever imagined. So, the me being punished by Liang Nuo to clean shoes. It happened because the handsomest boy in the student council looked at me a moment longer. And Liang Nuo saw that look. So, the Liang family only paid Xiaoxia's mother 3,000 yuan a month. Using the excuse that they'd helped her raise Yao, they hadn't given her a raise in over a decade. And out of that meager 3,000, Xiaoxia's mother had to send 1,000 back to her parents in the countryside. Otherwise, Xiaoxia's uncles would refuse to care for the elderly. So Jiang Xiaoxia only had 600 yuan a month for living expenses. What's even more absurd is that Xiaoxia's mother was selling her labor, yet the Liang family treated it as a favor. Liang Nuo's mother was just as skilled a manipulator as Liang Nuo herself. Without our family, could you and your daughter live such a good life? You should be grateful. Only gratitude brings blessings. And Xiaoxia's mother, subjected to this brainwashing and bullying day after day, genuinely believed she and Zhou owed the Liang family. Not only was she grateful herself, she taught Zhou to be grateful too, to treat Liang Nuo like a young mistress to be served. But Zhou and her mother's constant giving in only made Liang Nuo more aggressive. Zhou became Liang Nuo's punching bag. Whenever Liang Nuo got upset by yours truly, the original Zhao Qianzheng, she'd take it out on Zhou. She'd force her to kneel, slap her, even lock her in the school bathroom overnight. Zhou wrote in her diary, "Just bear it a little longer. Once I get to university I can escape all this." But because she overperformed on the Gaokao college entrance exam and scored 1 point higher than Liang Nuo, the entire Liang family went ballistic. A maid's daughter scoring higher than Liang Nuo. Unacceptable to Liang Nuo and her parents. Liang Nuo, pissed off by her parents, escalated her bullying of Xiao. Xiaoxia's diary clearly stated she originally planned to apply to universities outside the province to get far away from the Liang family. She'd even discussed with her mother that once she was settled at university, her mother would quit and join her there. But when it came time to fill out the university application choices, Liang Nuo confronted Xiao and threatened her. If Xiao didn't apply to the same university and same major, she'd fire Xiaoxia's mother and contact Xiaoxia's father. Without the Liang family's protection, do you think your drunkard father will beat you to death? Liang Nuo snarled. Probably terrified of her father, Xiao had no choice but to change her volunteer to match Liang Nuo's. A university. Her nightmare followed her there. When I entered Xiaoxia's body, the university had just started its first week. At the start of the semester, out of character, Liang Nuo gave Zhao many brand-name clothes and bags, all the latest styles. Zhao knew Liang Nuo couldn't possibly be kind and refused them. But Liang Nuo forced them on her. My family's maid's daughter needs to dress decently for university. Otherwise, it's not your face you're losing, it's my face. Unable to argue, Zhao had to accept them, and under Liang Nuo's supervision, even wear them. So, Yuao went to register wearing clothes covered in big logos, quickly attracting everyone's attention. The whole department whispered that she was a new, rich, beautiful girl. Of course, she wanted to explain, to tell everyone they were gifts, but never got the chance. People just whispered, communicating with knowing glances. This was Liang Nuo's scheme. Right when everyone assumed Zhao came from a wealthy family, the prettiest freshman girl with money and grades, Liu slapped her in front of everyone. Liang Nuo declared that Jiang Xiaoxia was a despicable thief. All her brand-name clothes? Stolen from the Liang family. A maid's daughter pretending to be a rich girl. Absolutely laughable. Just like that, on the very first day of university, Jiang Xiaoxia's life was destroyed. Watching Liang Nuo's brow slowly relax, I understood that this ordeal satisfied her. Maybe, now, she stopped tormenting me, the naive Xiao wrote in her diary. But Xiao didn't realize this only emboldened Liang Nuo. Bullying Xiao with zero consequences only fueled Liang Nuo's arrogance. Right when everyone was avoiding Xiao, like the plague, one person appeared in her life. Lu Fan. According to Xiaoxia's diary, Lu Fan was our former high school classmate. He, Zhao, and Liang Nuo all got into a university. On the day Xiaoxia's reputation was destroyed, he comforted her. He told Zhao he'd noticed her since high school. He said he knew she'd always studied incredibly hard, and he believed she would never steal from anyone, let alone steal to pretend to be rich. He asked her, "Is all this Liang Nuo's scheme?" Zhao cried. Lu Fan seized the moment, held her hand, and confessed his feelings. He said he'd always liked her, but, coming from an ordinary family and being an average student, he felt he had nothing to offer, so he never dared confess. But now, seeing you bullied by Liang Nuo, my heart aches so much. I don't want to run from my feelings anymore. Though touched, Zhao was more afraid Liang Nuo would take it out on Lu Fan. She refused him. But Lu Fan insisted he wasn't afraid of Liang Nuo. He said he hadn't protected her before, because he hadn't known she was being bullied. He told her, "Don't be afraid of her. You can trust me, rely on me." This was the first and only time in Xiaoxia's life someone told her not to be afraid, that she could trust and rely on them. Not even her own mother had ever said that to her. So, she finally agreed to be with him, thinking it was a blessing in disguise, that happiness was finally within reach. Then Liang Nuo showed up again. Zhao, beaten down, dared to have a boyfriend. Liang Nuo objected. The last entry in the diary, the day before I arrived, was the last time Jiang Xiao saw Lu Fan. That night, Liang Nuo had two thugs drag Xiao to a back alley off campus. Liang Nuo asked, "So, I hear you're dating?" Zhao nodded stubbornly. Liang Nuo laughed. "Guess what? Do you think your boyfriend will dare come save you?" Zhao retorted through clenched teeth. "How would he even know I'm here?" Liang Nuo laughed again. "And if he did know, would he actually come?" Zhao said she believed in Lu Fan. If he knew she was being bullied, he would definitely come. Then, two more thugs dragged a battered and bruised Lu Fan in front of Zhao. Upon seeing Liang Nuo, the terrified Lu Fan actually took 2 steps back. Xiao asked if he was okay, but Lu Fan, scared out of his wits, didn't even hear her. Liang Nuo told Lu Fan, "My dad donated a building to the university. Do you think I can get you expelled?" Xiao saw the fear in Lu Fan's eyes. She longed for him to look at her, so she could tell him she wasn't afraid, that with him there, she wasn't scared. But Lu Fan kept avoiding her gaze. Then Liang Nuo had the thugs assault Xiao sexually, right in front of Lu Fan. Finally, Lu Fan looked at her, but the moment their eyes met, he looked away, turned tail and fled. Looking at Xiao, Liang Nuo flashed a triumphant smile. "See? That's your cheap, worthless love. Tisk tsk, what a joke. You think getting into some crappy university and finding some idiot guy will turn your life around? Dream on. You and your mother are destined to be servants. I suggest you focus on licking my shoes clean and stop stirring up trouble. Today was just an appetizer. If you don't keep me satisfied, next time won't be so easy." Finally, the thugs beat Xiao. She didn't fight back. The last line in Jiang Xiaoxia's diary was, "I don't want a next life." Xiao passed away that night. Her body lay alone in bed for an entire day before I entered it. During that time, not one roommate, teacher, or even her mother came looking for her. No one noticed. She just left this world, quietly, all alone. It infuriates me. While Liang Nuo was the main culprit, everyone around her was complicit. They all deserve to pay. I didn't sleep all night, just planned my revenge. The next morning, Liang Nuo showed up with the advisor, demanding my expulsion. Liang Nuo strode in and with practiced ease, pulled a diamond-encrusted stopwatch from my cabinet. She looked at me triumphantly. "Jiang Xiao, first week of school, you steal my skirts, you steal my bags. Out of consideration for your mother, I let it slide. Didn't think you'd get addicted to it, though. This time, I can't cover for you anymore. We'll let the school decide what happens." The advisor was a young man already showing signs of balding, his thinning hair somehow amplifying his sleaziness. He carefully picked up the watch, examining it. "Tsk, this watch must be at least 60,000 yuan, right?" Liang Nuo nodded. "Actually more." The advisor shot me a stern look. "Unbelievable. Never thought we'd actually have a thief in this university. Jiang Xiao, you have disappointed me greatly." Then, like a master of Sichuan opera face-changing, his expression shifted to one of fawning obsequiousness as he turned back to Liang Nuo. "The amount stolen is substantial. Normally, we'd have to hand her over to the police. But the university doesn't want this to blow up either. Having a student labeled a thief doesn't look good, after all. Classmate Liang Nuo, if you ask me, maybe it's best if Jiang Xiao just withdraws voluntarily. What do you think?" Liang Nuo pretended to consider this. "Yeah, that could work. I don't want to make things difficult for you, advisor. Since you put it that way, I'll do it for your sake. Jiang Xiao, I'm letting you off the hook again. Hope you learn how to behave properly out in the real world. Next time you mess up, you'll have to face society's punishment yourself." I let out a snort of laughter. "So, you two are expelling me, and I'm supposed to thank you. What's next? You two gonna fly up to heaven?" The advisor's face darkened. "Jiang Xiao, what kind of attitude is that? I'm trying to give you, a young person, a chance to turn over a new leaf. If you're this ungrateful, we'll have no choice but to hand you over to the authorities." I immediately pulled out my phone and dialed 110. "Officer, this is room 202, building 6, a university women's dorm. The university advisor is framing me for theft. We have solid evidence. Please send someone immediately." Seeing me call the police, the advisor's face grew even uglier. Fine. You had your chance and you refused it. Then just wait for the police. This won't just be about you withdrawing anymore. You'll be expelled and face legal consequences." Liang Nuo and the 2 roommates stood behind the advisor, all 3 wearing smug, gloating expressions as they watched me. "Jiang Xiao, you really don't know when you're well off." I couldn't help but laugh. I plopped down in Jiang Xiaoxia's seat and calmly opened my laptop. Liang Nuo and the others had no idea what I was up to. They kept hurling insults, but I ignored them completely. I just waited for the police. Soon enough, the officers arrived. Liang Nuo rushed ahead of me, telling them I was a repeat offender, a chronic thief. The advisor, speaking on behalf of the university, earnestly requested that the officers handle this matter strictly. When the officers turned to me, I simply projected a video from my phone onto the laptop screen and turned up the volume. The footage was dark, but you could still make out the two main figures, the tall and short roommates. Together, they first used a key to open Liang Nuo's cabinet. They rummaged around for a while, pulled out a few gift boxes, turned around, and stuffed them into Jiang Xiaoxia's unlocked cabinet. Then, in the darkness, they used their flash to take 2 or 3 pictures of Jiang Xiaoxia's cabinet. That flash is exactly what allowed me to capture their faces clearly, on my own recording. Even though my video was grainy, you could still see the fear and secret glee on their faces. The video ended. The officer frowned deeply, looking at the advisor and Liang Nuo. So, who exactly is framing whom? The group that had been so arrogant just moments ago was now completely thrown into disarray. The advisor looked at Liang Nuo with an expression of utter disappointment. Liang Nuo, in turn, looked at her 2 lackey roommates with the same look. And the 2 lackeys? They had already turned into trembling puddles of fear. Before the officer could even question them, they pointed at Liang Nuo and confessed. She put us up to it. It had nothing to do with us. Anyway, here's how it ended. The roommates, Jiang Xiaoxia and Ning Hui, ratted out Liang Nuo as the mastermind. But Liang Nuo not only refused to admit it, she counter-accused them of framing her. With a look of utter shock, she berated them. You two are going too far. Are you just jealous that I'm richer than you? Is that why you're framing me like this? The 2 lackeys stared dumbfounded at Liang Nuo, a 10 out of 10 performing artist. Their inner turmoil was probably even more dramatic than their faces. The police retrieved the chat logs between Liang Nuo and Jiang Xiaoxia, but found they couldn't definitively prove Liang Nuo was the mastermind. Liang Nuo was clearly a veteran at this kind of scheming. The SIM card she used to instruct Jiang Xiaoxia wasn't even registered under her own ID. And so, Liang Nuo walked away scot-free, light as a feather. Left behind were Jiang Xiaoxia and Ning Hui, crying rivers, along with their parents. Their parents even knelt before me, begging, with tears streaming down their aged faces. They apologized on behalf of their children, pleading with me not to press charges, to give them a chance at a new life. Looking at these 4 middle-aged people kneeling on the ground, I demanded of Jiang Xiaoxia and Ning Hui, why, when you yourselves come from ordinary families, did you suck up to Liang Nuo and bully someone even more pitiful than yourselves? They just hung their heads and sobbed, offering no answer. I was furious. Because I, Jiang Zhou, am truly at the bottom, right? So far at the bottom, that even people as ordinary as you can bully me with no consequences. You saw Liang Nuo's malicious intent, but instead of stopping it, you aided and abetted her, using bullying me as a ticket to win her favor. You decided Liang Nuo was the strong one, because she has money and power. By bullying me with her, you could gain her trust, maybe even get some benefits. But you're so stupid. In Liang Nuo's eyes, you're just dogs. She looked down on me, but she never respected you either. When you're truly in trouble, the only ones who will do everything to protect you are your pitiful parents. They did nothing wrong, yet they're kneeling here, for your sake, begging me to drop the charges. And all you can do is cry. You don't even know what responsibility you should take. I got more and more worked up as I spoke. Jiang Qianchen and Ning Hu's parents both seemed very honest, even a bit socially awkward. That made their daughter's behavior even more disgusting. In the end, though I did drop the charges, they were just Liang Nuo's minions after all. The one I really needed to deal with was Liang Nuo. Leaving the police station, I looked up at the gloomy sky, and suddenly missed my mom and dad fiercely. Truth be told, the main reason I dropped the charges was the look of utter despair in the eyes of Jiang Qianchen and Ning, Hu's parents. That look, after I died, I saw it often in my own parents' eyes. I couldn't wait to find my parents, to tell them about my situation now. But that's when I realized, as Jiang Zhou, I couldn't even get close to them. I went to my father's company. I couldn't even get past the gate. The security guard, who used to smile and greet me warmly, was incredibly hostile. He took one look at me and decided I was just a poor student, either a shoe shiner or a salesperson trying to sneak in. When I finally spotted my father's car pulling out of the parking garage, I stepped forward. Before I could even get close, his bodyguard grabbed me and unceremoniously deposited me on the sidewalk. The bodyguard, usually so friendly to me, was icily cold. Little girl, this is no place to try and pull a scam. I went home. I couldn't even get near the gate of our own compound. The young security guard at the entrance, who used to grin like a sunflower whenever he saw me, now couldn't be bothered to speak. He just gave me a look that clearly said, "Keep away." I couldn't get close to my mother either. I knew she walked our dog in the evenings with the dog walker auntie, so I hid near the fence outside the compound, waiting for them. But tonight, only the dog walker auntie and the dog came out. The auntie didn't even glance my way. But my dog? He bounded towards me joyfully, wagging his tail. I almost burst into tears. Who would have thought? The only one who recognized my soul was the dog. The dog acknowledged me, but he couldn't really do anything. In the end, because I insisted on talking to our dog, the dog walker auntie called over the property manager. She claimed I was trying to steal the dog, said our dog had some rare Madagascan bloodline and was incredibly valuable. I cried. I'd picked this dog up off the street. I had no idea what breed it was. And at that very moment I saw Liang Nuo's car drive right into my family's compound. I jumped up and demanded of the property manager, "Why can she get in, and I can't?" The dog walker auntie rolled her eyes and cut in. "She's the lady's goddaughter. Who are you? Even our dog doesn't know you. Now, move along." My mother had taken Liang Nuo as her goddaughter. What was happening to the world? But even more shocking than that news was the phone call I received from Jiang Xiaoxia's mother. Her own daughter had been framed, nearly expelled because of it. And this mother said to me over the phone, "How can you be so thoughtless? How many times have I told you? Don't upset the young miss. Why won't you listen? If the young miss is unhappy and yells at you a bit, can't you just endure it? And you even dared to take the young miss to the police station. Are you trying to drive me to my grave? Without this job with the Liang family, we'd be eating wind for dinner." I couldn't listen to another word. I laughed coldly. "Want to be a slave yourself? Fine. But forcing your own daughter to be one too. I think you're in a league of your own when it comes to mothers." I hung up and immediately blocked her number. What a piece of work. So damn annoying. The early autumn wind carried a chill. I walked along, disheartened, feeling a bone-deep cold. This world was no longer the one I'd known. It was so fair. When I was Yao Jiang Yang, the world was kind to me. Everyone smiled. Even if there were people like Liang Nuo who secretly envied me, I could fight back easily. But the moment I became Jiang Xiaoxia, the world turned its back on me. Not only was everyone hostile, even my counterattacks were feeble, like today. My counterattack hadn't affected Liang Nuo one bit. Tomorrow she'd be back, lording it over my life again. So, money really can do anything. For the first time in my life, I felt utterly lost. Once, I thought I was cool, sharp, and smart, destined to stand at the pinnacle, looking down on everyone. Back then, did I ever really respect Jiang Xiaoxia? Did I know Liang Nuo bullied her? Yes, I knew. But I couldn't be bothered to intervene. I thought Jiang Xiaoxia was weak, that she deserved it. If she wouldn't fight for her own life, who could she expect to fight for her? So, when I had the power to help her, I chose to look the other way. In a sense, what difference was there between me and Jiang Xianshan or Ning Hui? But only when I truly became Zhou Yuo did I understand. What could she even do? She had a weak, selfish mother and an abusive, alcoholic father she constantly had to hide from. In this vast world, she had nowhere to run. With so many people, no one was willing to help her. All she could do was grit her teeth and bear it. Just like she wrote in her diary, "Bear it a little longer. Once I get to university, I can get away from all this." But in the end, Lady Luck didn't smile on her. When Jiang Xiaoxia left this world, all alone, what was she thinking? Was she as filled with rage as I am now? Or did she finally feel relieved? No one can give me an answer. I thought of my parents again. How ridiculous. As Jiang Xiaoxia, I couldn't even get close to my own parents. Simply because they are rich and I am poor. We're all humans on the same planet. But one group just naturally builds barriers against the other. Why the hell should that be? Is Zhao Tianjiang some kind of celestial being, and Jiang Zhuo just an aunt? And what's even more laughable is the current situation. Liang Nuo is the celestial being, and I've become the ant. The barriers my own parents built are not only blocking me, their biological daughter, but are also letting my Archnemesis Liang Nuo reap the benefits. How absurd is that? I trudged back to the dorm in this miserable state, and buried myself under the covers. This world was too infuriating. I needed to sleep to muster the strength to keep fighting. No matter what, I am Zhao Qianzheng. I will get my parents back. I will make my Archnemesis lick the soles of my feet. Liang Nuo, just you wait. Knowing Liang Nuo as I did, she would never let things slide. Thank God for the Bitcoin my father gave me. At least I had enough money to fight back. First things first, I needed a new wardrobe. Liang Nuo likes to flaunt her wealth. Fine, I'll play that game. I'll flaunt right back, until she can't resist making a move against me. The next day in class, I showed up in the latest Fendi dress, sporting Hermes kitten heels, a Van Cleef and Arpels necklace around my throat, a diamond-encrusted Cartier bracelet on my left wrist, a Patek Philippe watch on my right, and carrying an Hermes bag for good measure. I looked like a walking luxury brand display case. My appearance practically blinded everyone, especially Liang Nuo. Whispers erupted everywhere, accompanied by strange glances constantly darting towards Liang Nuo. I couldn't hear them, but I could guess what they were saying. Liang Nuo had called me a vain, show-off thief, right? Now this show-off was wearing at least 2 million yuan worth of gear, making Liang Nuo's outfit, worth under 500,000, look positively modest by comparison. So, who's the real monkey king here? Or rather, the real rich girl? Liang Nuo's eyes were practically shooting fire at me. I just shot her a challenging look back. This idiot, who never learns to keep her cool, predictably jumped up. Jiang Xiaoxia, are you so vain that it's made you crazy? Where did you dig up all these fakes? Aren't you embarrassed? I smiled sweetly and deliberately placed my Hermes bag on the desk. The real thing doesn't need proving. Say what you want. But if I remember correctly, Uncle Liang never bought you an Hermes, did he? It's normal that you wouldn't recognize a real one. Just then, a male classmate who loved stirring the pot came over for a closer look at my bag. My family runs a second-hand luxury goods shop. This is definitely authentic. Wow, a classic Birkin like this. You couldn't get it without spending at least 500,000 on pre-purchases first. My God, Jiang Xiaoxia, you're a real moneyed sister. I pointed vaguely at Liang Nuo, pretending to be modest. Oh, come on, what moneyed sister am I? The real rich girl is right over there. I just got incredibly lucky. A rich guy took a liking to me, and insisted on giving me all this stuff. I couldn't say no even if I wanted to. I glanced at Liang Nuo, then at Lu Fan sitting in the corner. Come to think of it, the person I should thank most for my current situation is you. If you hadn't gone to the trouble of tying me up that day, and hiring people to wake me up, I might never have realized how outstanding and beautiful I am. Someone as ordinary as Lu Fan was never worthy of me. And you were so thoughtful, designing that whole test of true feeling scenario for me and Lu Fan. Too bad Lu Fan was such a disappointment, running off the moment he saw me tied up. He didn't stop to think. You're so kind. You'd never actually let them hurt me. It was all just an act for his benefit, wasn't it? Good thing he ran off so fast, and you, worried I might be too upset, left me alone in that alley to collect my thoughts. After you all left, that's when a tall, rich, handsome guy happened by and rescued me. It was like fate descending from the heavens. Even now, thinking about it, it still feels like a dream. When I finished, everyone except Liang Nuo and Lu Fan had expressions ranging from shock to delight. It was a feast of emotions. Lu Fan, unable to face anyone, slunk away in disgrace. The classroom erupted in jeers. This showed everyone believed my story. Liang Nuo had bullied me, and Lu Fan had stood by and done nothing. Liang Nuo looked like she might spontaneously combust from rage. But red-faced and glaring at me, she couldn't utter a single word of rebuttal. What could she say? Some things, even for rich people, are done but not talked about. She could secretly hire thugs to corner Jiang Xiaoxia in an alley and humiliate her. But she would never dare admit to such a thing openly. So, by revealing it publicly and even giving her a kind-hearted justification, I'd put her in an impossible position. Either she admitted it or denied it. Both were traps. Now, no matter what she said, her image as a bully was cemented in everyone's minds. Of course, maybe people always knew she was a bully. But because she was powerful enough, no one was willing to stand up for Jiang Xiaoxia. But now, thanks to the million-yuan outfit I was wearing, Jiang Xiaoxia had been recast as the stronger one. And nobody can resist enjoying the spectacle of the former strong one's downfall. That's human nature. Liang Nuo forced a smile, clenching her jaw so hard her teeth might crack. I hope your tall, rich, handsome guy keeps loving you like this forever. I tossed my hair and sat down. I'm so beautiful, you don't need to worry about that. Everyone burst into laughter. No one bothered to hide their eagerness to see Liang Nuo humiliated. Finally, unable to take it, Liang Nuo followed Lu Fan's example and slunk out of the classroom. The rest of that class, my mood was absolutely beautiful. Liang Nuo was definitely off to unleash her ultimate move. I sure hope she doesn't disappoint me. At 9 p.m., carrying my Hermes, I headed to the supermarket near the school gate. No sooner had I left campus than I sensed two tails behind me. Liang Nuo sure knows how to keep things simple and crude. At this hour there weren't many people around the gate. I pretended to be scared and quickened my pace. The two behind me did the same. As I passed the alleyway where Jiang Xiaoxia had been attacked, I felt a violent shove. A man pinned me against the wall, covering my mouth. Another man snatched my bag from behind. The one holding me said, "Careful with that. That bag's worth a fortune. Don't scratch it." The bag snatcher said, "This crappy bag is worth hundreds of thousands. Are we getting ripped off? Targeted robbery now." The one holding me snapped impatiently, "Stop blabbing. Put the bag away, we've got business to handle." Business? Robbery isn't the main business. I struggled desperately. The man holding me got annoyed and backhanded me across the face. "Stay still, damn it. Cooperate and let us have our fun, and you'll suffer less. Robbery and rape. How many years would that get you?" I trembled, pretending to be terrified. "Big brothers, did Liang Nuo send you? Please, let me go. My boyfriend is super rich. Whatever money you want, I'll give it." The man holding me snorted coldly. "Shut up. Who the hell is Liang Nuo? Don't know her. Truth is, we came for you today. Your boyfriend's rich. Perfect. Let us have a taste of what a rich man's woman is like." The bag snatcher even nodded in agreement. "Exactly. Why do those rich guys get to take our women? Today we don't want money. We want revenge." Damn. Where did Liang Nuo find these psychos? Guess I couldn't get any useful info out of them. I sighed. All right then. Looks like you two are getting the all-inclusive prison package. With that, I whistled into the air and yelled, "Help! Rape!" Two figures immediately slipped into the alley from the entrance. Before the two thugs could react, they were pinned to the ground. My highly paid bodyguards. I called 110, and my bodyguard handed the two thugs over to the police. Since I'd recorded everything, the two thugs were charged with robbery and attempted rape. An Hermes bag worth 300,000 yuan meant their robbery fell under the huge amount category, a serious aggravating factor. At least 10 years in prison. Add attempted rape on top of that. These two would probably spend the rest of their lives regretting it behind bars. They clearly hadn't expected things to get this serious. After being informed of the legal implications, they panicked, eager for reduced sentences, scrambled to confess they'd been instigated. Seems they were unemployed. Their girlfriends had dumped them, so they became keyboard warriors online, spewing misogynistic crap like, "all women should die." Then they got noticed by an ID called Thanos Number 1. This Thanos Number 1 constantly egged them on, fueling their resentment against society. You have no money because the rich hoard it all. You have no girlfriends because women are all vain and materialistic. They'd rather be mistresses for rich men than struggle with you. And so, Thanos Number 1 became their leader. The catalyst for today's action was Thanos Number 1, showing them photos of my million-yuan outfit. You can't even scrape together 100 yuan, but this woman casually wears 1,000,000 yuan. All gifts from her so-called tall, rich, handsome boyfriend. Why is he so rich? Because he stole money that rightfully belongs to you. A woman like this? Even if you rob and rape her, she won't dare call the police. If she does, her boyfriend will find out she was raped. How's she supposed to keep scamming money then? The login IP for Thanos Number 1 traced back to the Liang residence. But this time, Liang Nuo didn't even set foot in the police station. The Liang family's driver confessed to using Liang Nuo's laptop without permission and inciting the two thugs to assault me. His motive? He'd supposedly tried to pursue Jiang Xiaoxia's mother, was rejected, and his love turned to hate. Destroying the daughter was his revenge on the mother. Even more absurdly, Jiang Xiaoxia's mother personally testified that she'd seen the driver using Liang Nuo's computer without authorization. I'll never forget the smug look Liang Nuo gave me, silently declaring that as Jiang Xiaoxia, I was powerless against her. As long as she had enough money, she could escape any punishment. That's another rule of this world. Dirty but effective. A world I never saw when I was Xiao Qiangqiang. I suddenly realized, without being Zhao Dexin's daughter, my intelligence, my tactics, things I'd always prided myself on, meant nothing. I wasn't smarter than Jiang Xiaoxia, wasn't more resourceful. The only reason I'd been able to toy with Liang Nuo was luck. I had a father named Zhao Dexin who, coincidentally, was rich and loved me very much. Without my father, I was nothing. That realization was deeply depressing. What made me even angrier was Jiang Xiaoxia's mother. She actually had the nerve to blame me. Why won't you listen to me? Haven't I told you to stop provoking me, young miss? Who do you think you are? Who is she? What good can come from opposing her? Can't you just endure it? So many people would kill for a chance to suck up to the Liang family. You have such a good opportunity now. Make the young miss happy, and maybe the Liangs will set you up with a good job in the future. Then all these years of suffering for your mother won't have been for nothing. What the hell? I stared at her in disbelief. Do you have any idea what you're saying? Your daughter was bullied to death, and you still talk like this. Seeing my conviction and fury, Jiang's mother stared at me for a long moment. Then her face went pale with terror. My daughter is dead? Then who are you? Realizing my anger had made me slip, I quickly backtracked. I mean, if your daughter, me, was bullied to death, then besides those bastards who did the bullying, you'd be a murderer too. It's because I have a shameless, selfish, cowardly, pathetic mother like you that people dare bully me. They know there are no consequences. And I bet, even if I died at Liang Nuo's hands, you wouldn't do a thing. You'd just cry and curse your cowardly daughter for not knowing her place, for not sucking up to the rich people like everyone else, for getting herself killed instead. Bombarded by my outburst, Jiang's mother just stood there, frozen, her expression complex. She couldn't utter a word for a long time. Looking at her infuriating figure, I turned and walked away without looking back. Jiang Xiaoxia, your life was too hard. Not even a day later, I got another call from Jiang Xiaoxia's mother. This time, she didn't criticize me. She just told me to be sure to come home for the weekend. Said she'd made my favorite dish, braised ribbon fish in soy sauce. Maybe, in her own way, she was trying to reconcile with her humiliated and destroyed daughter. I hesitated, then agreed. It wasn't sympathy. I had a reason to go back. The home she wanted me to return to was the very crime scene where Liang Nuo had tormented Jiang Xiaoxia for years. Maybe there was still some evidence of Liang Nuo's bullying hidden there. When she saw me, Jiang's mother didn't speak. She just brought out the cooked fish and placed it in front of me. To keep her calm, I immediately picked up a piece and started chewing. The fish was mediocre, but the way Jiang's mother looked at me grew stranger and stranger. After swallowing 2 pieces, I suddenly felt dizzy and lightheaded. Then a talisman was plastered onto my forehead. Xiaoxia has never eaten ribbon fish since she was little. Who are you? Get out of my daughter's body right now. I heard Jiang's mother's furious roar. The next second, my entire soul was ejected from Jiang Xiaoxia's body, floating in the air. Without a soul, Jiang Xiaoxia instantly lost consciousness, her face turning pale. Jiang's mother kept shouting, Jiang Xiaoxia, come back quickly. But no matter how she called, Xiaoxia's eyes didn't open. Right. How could Jiang Xiaoxia possibly open her eyes? Without my soul, she probably didn't have much time left. Soon, a frantic Jiang's mother, sobbing, dialed 120. The ambulance came and went, wailing. Throughout it all, not a single member of the Liang family showed their face. But Liang's mother, father, and Liang Nuo were all definitely at home. They must have heard the mother's hysterical crying and the ambulance sirens. They just glanced out the window, then went back to their rooms. One to keep sending red envelope to his mistress, one to continue her spa, one to keep laughing at her variety show. The Liang family. A harmonious, beautiful hell. At the hospital, the doctors used many rescue measures, but ultimately shook their heads at Jiang's mother. According to the doctors, the best-case scenario was that Jiang Xiaoxia would be a vegetable, with an uncertain survival period. Keeping her alive would require a significant sum of money. With nowhere else to turn, Jiang's mother, crying, returned to the Liang house. She hesitated at the gate for over an hour, then knelt at the feet of Liang's parents as soon as she entered. Liang's father and mother, in the middle of dinner, didn't even pause their chopsticks. Only after Jiang's mother haltingly explained Xiaoxia's situation and begged to borrow money, swearing she'd work like an ox or a horse to repay the master and mistress's kindness, did Liang's father spit a meat bone from his mouth and smack his lips. Sister Jiang, I understand your situation. But frankly, this is a problem we can't help with. As they say, you help in an emergency, not with poverty. You make 3,000 a month. If you work for our family another 10 years, at most you'll generate 400,000 in value. But Xiaoxia's situation? It's a bottomless pit. Who knows if 400,000 would even be enough to cure her? And even if she did recover, when would a young girl like Zhao ever pay back that 400,000? If we lend it to you, that money just disappears. From an economic perspective, I advise you to give up on Zhao. It's cruel to say, but life has a price. Zhao isn't worth 400,000. Jiang's mother opened her mouth, trying to speak, when she heard Liang Nuo snort with laughter. She'd been so absorbed in her variety show, she hadn't even heard the life or death plea. Or maybe she heard, and just didn't care. The flicker of hope in Jiang's mother's eyes slowly died. She probably knew this family she'd served for over a decade better than I did. Just as I was desperately trying to figure out how to get back into Jiang Xiaoxia's body, Jiang's mother burned the talisman. Instantly, I was back. Jiang Xiaoxia's finger twitched slightly. Jiang's mother immediately asked me, "Who are you? Where did Zhao go? Tell me the truth. I'm begging you." Looking at her red-rimmed eyes, I could only admit, I don't know. Jiang's mother stared at me for a long moment. Her hand reached out, halfway, but never touched me. Then she cried, "My Zhao isn't coming back, is she?" I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Anything I said would be redundant. If I beg you ... could you avenge my Zhao? Jiang's mother looked at me like a stranger now. The utter desperation on her face left me no choice but to nod. Receiving my affirmation, she cried again. My Zhao. She was such a good child since she was little. She knew my life was hard, so she never asked me for anything, never compared herself to others. I remember one summer. It was scorching hot. I took her to the market. All the other kids were eating popsicles. She wanted one too, but she was too shy to ask. Later, I spent 1 yuan and bought her a mung bean popsicle. You know what? She took it and offered me the first bite. Said first bite for mommy. After that, no matter how hot it got, whenever I asked if she wanted a popsicle, she'd say no. Said she'd already had one. Didn't want another. She was only 5 or 6 then. I failed her. I failed XIA. Such a good child, and she had to be born into my family, become my daughter. What a sin. After saying this, Jiang's mother shuffled away. She wasn't even 50 yet, but her back was deeply bent. The blow of losing her daughter had aged her decades in an instant. I never saw Jiang's mother again after that day. I heard she quit the Liang job. Where she went, nobody knows. I don't really want to know either. Everyone must face their own judgment. Jiang's mother's problems are hers to solve. As selfish and cowardly as she was, I knew the real culprits behind Jiang Xiaoxia's tragedy were Liang Nuo and her family. Now, besides avenging Jiang Xiaoxia against Liang Nuo, I had another thought. I wanted to know, what dreams did this pitiful Jiang Xiaoxia have for her life? If possible, I want to fulfill them for her. Back in the dorm after leaving the hospital, I received a snarky WeChat message from the advisor. The preliminary round for the speech competition is starting soon. If you don't think you're up to it, you can withdraw. Give the chance to someone more capable. That's how I learned that at the start of the semester, Jiang Xiaoxia had signed up for a citywide university student speech contest. The advisor was now notifying me that the preliminaries were about to begin and asking if I was prepared. I looked it up. The competition had preliminary and final rounds, with the theme being the Chinese dream of contemporary university students. The Chinese dream. I vaguely recalled Zhao mentioning this contest in her diary. I quickly flipped through Jiang Xiaoxia's diary. This is what she'd written. No matter what, I have to make it to the finals at the TV station. Alright, no matter what, I was going to help her get that chance to appear live on TV during the finals. I replied to the advisor, "See you in the finals." Hearing that I'd also signed up, Liang Nuo specially called me. On the phone, she mocked me. "My godparents are sponsoring this competition. Guess whether we'll let you make it to the finals." Jiang Xiaoxia, don't think just because your mother doesn't work for my family anymore that I can't touch you. Bottom feeders will always be bottom feeders. You want to soar up the branch and become a phoenix. Dream on. I've got a million ways to put you back where you belong. Listening to Liang Nuo brazenly lump my parents together with scum like her, referring to us, I was speechless. I refused to believe my parents were like that. So I decided to test it. See if I could actually make it to the finals. If my parents really were as Liang Nuo claimed, then this time, even if I had to tear a hole in the sky, I would help Jiang Xiaoxia fulfill her dream. Years later, I would still be grateful for this decision. It was this speech competition that truly intertwined my fate with the real Jiang Xiaoxia's. On Jiang Xiaoxia's computer, I found a folder named Speech Competition. I discovered that Jiang Xiaoxia, the one who was always bullied, was actually an idealist. In her speech draft, she wrote, "When I was little, I always felt I was a useless person. I envied many people. They seemed to come with their own halo, shining brightly wherever they went. Compared to them, I was so dull, like a dim, lifeless stone. But one day I looked up at the moon and suddenly had an epiphany. The moon is actually just a giant rock that can't shine on its own, yet it reflects the sun's light, illuminating the night for us on Earth. I want to be like the moon too. Even if I can't shine myself, I can strive to reflect light from elsewhere onto the Earth, onto those who need help." It was in that moment I solidified my dream, to become a grassroots women's rights worker, to use my position to help more people. Her entire speech described her ideal, to help victims of domestic abuse, like her and her mother, and children suffering long-term emotional abuse from parents with mental health issues. I cried. She was a victim herself, hadn't even escaped her own hell. Yet she still thought about helping others. Just then, a PowerPoint presentation named Speech Competition Materials caught my eye. Seems Jiang Xiaoxia had prepared for this competition for a very long time. I opened the PPT, but its contents shocked me. This PPT documented evidence of Liang Nuo's crimes against Jiang Xian, the original me. It meticulously detailed the entire process of Liang Nuo, using the online alias Thanos #1, instigating a person named Liu Jinfeng to kill me, Zhao Qiangcheng. The whole process lasted 2 months. 2 months before the Gaokao, Liang Nuo first registered on a social platform using my photos. Then, posing as me, Zhao Qiangcheng, she started an online romance with Liu Jinfeng. Liu Jinfeng came from a poor family and had only gotten into our key high school through scholarships. He was somewhat paranoid and aloof, spending all his time studying and had no friends. Liang Nuo exploited his aloofness and paranoia, emotionally deceiving him. She stole many photos from my social media feeds and every few days sent them to Liu Jinfeng, claiming she was stressed about studies and missed him. She even made him promise not to start a relationship until after the Gaokao, and not to acknowledge each other if they met on campus. And so, the lonely and sensitive Liu Jinfeng believed the original me, Zhao Qiangzheng, truly loved him. Liang Nuo also hinted to Liu Jinfeng that after the Gaokao, I, Zhao Qiangzheng, wanted a grand public confession. So, after the exams ended, Liu Jinfeng really did confess to me right outside the test center, in front of a crowd of students and parents. Of course, I, completely clueless, rejected him on the spot. I remembered this incident vividly. I called him a psycho, and my family's bodyguard immediately drove him away. The day after the Gaokao, some busybody posted the incident online, and it became a local trending news story. Liu Jinfeng, also just graduating, became a citywide laughingstock. Probably another one of Liang Nuo's moves. Later, Liu Jinfeng messaged Xiao Qiangjiang online, demanding to know why she claimed to love him, yet humiliated him so publicly in front of everyone. Liang Nuo then subjected Liu Jinfeng to a vicious verbal attack, suddenly switching to say he was a toad lusting after swan meat, that someone of his background should just castrate himself, accept reality, and stop bothering me. She even threw down a challenge, telling him if he had the guts, kill me. If not, leave me alone. Thus, humiliated to the point of breakdown, Liu Jinfeng constantly stalked me, trying to confront me face to face. Finally, he found his chance, got close, and as I panicked, dialing 110 without understanding what was happening, he stabbed me in the heart. Reading these materials, I could barely breathe, because the knife Liu Jinfeng used to stab me. It was also provided by Liang Nuo. She instructed Jiang Xiaoxia, completely unaware of the real situation, to gift the package containing the knife to Liu Jinfeng, pretending it was a present. Liu Jinfeng thought it was a provocation from Zhao Qiangjiang, and, in a fit of impulse, made the wrong choice. After the incident, when Jiang Xiaoxia, who hadn't gone far, returned to the scene and saw the discarded packaging, the very one Liang Nuo had told her to give Liu Jinfeng, she guessed Liang Nuo was connected to my death. But she was terrified. She didn't know if she was an accomplice, so she didn't dare tell the police. The matter haunted her for days. Finally, after Xiao Qiangxiang was buried, Jiang Xiaoxia decided she would silently gather evidence and expose Liang Nuo's crime. So, taking a huge risk, she lingered around the Liang household, found ways to secretly log into Liang Nuo's computer, and saved the evidence of Liang Nuo. Thanos number 1. Instigating Liu Jinfeng's crime. Initially, Xiaoxia wanted to tell my parents, but found she couldn't get close to them. She thought about exposing it on other live broadcast platforms, but was afraid the stream would be cut. So she planned to make it to the finals of the speech competition, and, during the live broadcast, present this PPT publicly. Because my parents were sponsoring the competition, my father would definitely be there that day. Jiang Xiaoxia believed this was the only way to bring Liang Nuo to justice. But before she could do any of it, she was bullied to death by Liang Nuo. I was stunned. I thought I was helping Jiang Xiaoxia, but Jiang Xiaoxia had been secretly plotting to get justice for me. Sorrow and regret washed over me. I felt apologetic for my past life. Even though I was already dead, I still felt sorry. Unlike Jiang Xiaoxia, I used to think I was the sun. I shone merely to radiate my own light in all directions, never caring about the beings I scorched, let alone warming them or lighting their way. I wanted all of creation to gaze upon me. That was my way of proving my existence, proving how awesome Zhao Qianjiang was. I believe many people who find success young think this way. But Jiang Xiaoxia, scarred and battered by life, had thoughts and a realm far beyond mine. The world had failed her, yet she responded with the greatest kindness. Now, I wanted to be like Jiang Xiaoxia, be a moon, to illuminate the darkness of the human world. I closed the laptop, my resolve to fulfill Jiang Xiaoxia's wish stronger than ever. She deserved to be a hero, admired by all. She was the real sun. This I owed her. This the world owed her. The next few days I immersed myself in the library, researching. I wanted to perfect Jiang Xiaoxia's speech. On the day of the preliminaries, as I left the library, I ran right into Liang Nuo and my mother. Liang Nuo, clinging to my mother's arm, was being warmly greeted by the university leadership. Liang Nuo shot me a provocative glance, then whispered something in my mother's ear. My mother looked up at me. Our eyes met across the way, but my mother didn't recognize me as I'd hoped. She just casually looked away and nodded at Liang Nuo. Liang Nuo's smile grew even brighter. So, was my mother really planning to help Liang Nuo rig the competition? For just a preliminary round, a sponsor like her didn't need to attend personally. But she was here. Other than to show support for Liang Nuo, what other explanation was there? Actually, this could have been a good thing for me. I could have presented Liang Nuo's crime evidence to my mother right then, avoiding the risk of being rigged out of the finals. But I was still upset. I couldn't accept a mother who colluded with Liang Nuo. During the waiting period, I sat outside. I couldn't bear to enter the hall where my mother and Liang Nuo were acting so chummy. It started to rain. Imagining the look on my mother's face when she learned Liang Nuo was the one who killed me. It felt like it was raining in my heart too. Just then, an umbrella appeared over my head. I looked up. It was my mother. She asked me, "Did you offend Liang Nuo too? Too?" I looked at her suspiciously. My mother just smiled. "Don't worry. She won't bully you anymore." Then she shoved the umbrella into my hand and turned to walk away. Her back looked resolute, somehow reminding me of a female warrior. A bold idea surfaced in my mind. No way. Even though I thought it was crazy, my mother had always been a crazy and daring woman. Otherwise, she wouldn't have bet everything on my father when he had nothing. I caught up to her. "Hey, Chen Pingping. What are you planning?" My mother turned back, frowning. My mother's full name is Chen Pingping. Little name Pingping. But only I in this world call her Chen Pingping. When happy, I called her Mum. When angry, I called her Chin Pingping. Even though I was now Jiang Xiaoxia, I couldn't help but be close to my mother. Despite the wariness and doubt in her eyes, I decided to gamble everything. What I'm about to tell you will seem unbelievable. But Mum, I really am your daughter, Zhao Qiangsheng. I'm back. I know you have an oval birthmark on your left butt cheek. I know part of your right nipple is missing because I bit it off when I was little. And I know ... Before I could reveal more secrets, my mother grabbed me and hugged me tight. Qiangzheng. Huh. This reunion seemed way easier than I'd imagined. My mother held me close, getting tears all over my forehead. I let her feel me from head to toe, and only when I thought she'd had enough did I push her away. I'm back. But I heard you have another daughter now. My mother studied me for a long moment, then hugged me again. It really is you, Chang Yang. That eye roll is exactly like my Cheng Xiang's. All right. Whatever makes you happy. So, after my mother calmed down, I finally had the chance to tell her about everything I'd experienced these past days. And my mother told me something that left me dumbfounded. She had already known Liang Nuo was the mastermind behind my murder. She was planning to finish Liang Nuo today, in front of everyone. You know, if you'd recognized me just 1 minute later, I would have become a murderer. I knew my mother was crazy. I'd imagined she might be this crazy. But hearing her say she was ready to kill Liang Nuo herself still sent a chill down my spine. I asked my mother, "How could you be so stupid? There are plenty of ways to deal with Liang Nuo." She cut me off. My daughter was murdered. Of course I had to avenge her myself. I'm her mother. All right, that's definitely my mother. But now that I'm back, my mother didn't need to risk herself anymore. We just let the law handle Liang Nuo. Afterwards, I participated in the speeches scheduled, showcasing Jiang Xiaoxia's dream on the stage she dreamed of. I earned the applause of my classmates and the disdainful glares from Liang Nuo. Even more ridiculously, when my mother went on stage to announce the finalists, Liang Nuo was still shooting me provocative smiles, until my mother called out Jiang Xiaoxia's name, and Liang Nuo's name never appeared in the list at all. Her smile froze. She stood up and shouted, "Godmother, did you misread?" My mother smiled. "Misread what?" "Oh right, I forgot. There's one more surprise." Liang Nuo stared blankly at my mother on stage. I went up, opened the PPT I prepared, and announced to the students below, "Today, besides my speech topic, I have an extra story for everyone. About our classmate, Liang Nuo. She is a murderer." Just then, the police pushed open the door. They took Liang Nuo away on suspicion of instigating murder. "Jiang Xiaoxia, are you watching from above? From now on, rest assured, the dreams you left unfinished, I will fulfill for you. Thank you. And goodbye."